I want to show you all of these really crazy comparisons between Jesus' life and Samuel's life. Have you ever noticed that or realized that Samuel's entire life actually points forward to Jesus? And I'm not talking about just one little similarity here or there. I'm talking that everywhere there's parallels on Samuel's life to Jesus. So Samuel was born to a barren woman, Hannah, through a miraculous intervention by God. And you're probably already connecting the first dot because Jesus was born through a miraculous intervention by God through a virgin birth from Mary. Samuel's mom, Hannah, she breaks out into this prophetic worship song about God humbling the proud and lifting the lowly. And then over 1,000 years later, Mary breaks out into this prophetic worship song and it echoes Hannah's song almost line for line before Jesus is born. And that's not accidental. Then we see Samuel, he grows up ministering before the Lord as a child in the tabernacle. And Jesus grows up in the temple, amazing the teachers by his teaching and wisdom. And then look at this. In 1 Samuel 2, verse 26, there's an incredible parallel with Luke 2:52. It says, Samuel grew in stature and in favor with the Lord and with people. And then you probably know Luke 2:52. It says, Jesus increased in wisdom and stature and in favor with God and man. And this is intentionally connecting the two from Jesus and Samuel in their lives. Samuel ministered during a time of corrupt priests and spiritual darkness in Israel. And Jesus also ministered during a time of corrupt religious leaders and spiritual blindness in Israel. And then Samuel shows up when he's just a boy, and in 1 Samuel 3:1 it says that the word of the Lord was rare in those days. And so this was a dark, silent period through where God wasn't really speaking to them much, and it was rare because of their rebellion and their immorality in Israel. And Jesus shows up on the scene after centuries of prophetic silence, and he speaks. And so Samuel's name meant heard of God, and that's what I talked about in my last video. And he helped restore the voice of God to Israel. But Jesus comes onto the scene, and he literally is the Word of God made flesh. And so it's just insane, but it gets even crazier. So at the end of 1 Samuel 3, it says that Yahweh again appeared at Shiloh because Yahweh revealed himself to Samuel in Shiloh by the word of Yahweh. Did you catch that? Then Yahweh appeared again and revealed himself by the word of Yahweh, by the word of the Lord. Yahweh revealed himself. God revealed himself. And you're probably familiar with John 1, where it says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. The Word is Jesus. And many Christians and theologians throughout history have believed that this occurrence here in 1 Samuel may actually be a pre-incarnate appearance of Jesus Christ himself appearing to Samuel before Bethlehem, before the manger, before Mary. Jesus may have been the one who reveals God to Samuel right here. Because as you probably know, Jesus didn't begin existing at his incarnation. That was just when he became flesh. Jesus is eternal. And suddenly, Samuel's whole story becomes even more powerful. In the middle of corruption, in the middle of silence, in the middle of darkness in Israel, the voice of God starts speaking again through a child, through Samuel, at such a young age. He's going to the temple, the tabernacle, at about probably between 3 and 5 years old. And then when God first speaks to him in 1 Samuel chapter 3, most scholars believe it was probably around 10 to 13 years old. And so then we see this ultimate fulfillment with Jesus when the Word becomes flesh and he dwelt among us. And so this is just some amazing similarities between Samuel and Jesus. Did you know all these similarities? Or maybe you knew of some other ones that I missed. So comment down below if you either knew of these, all of these, or maybe there's some that I missed that you know of that you want to let me know. So let me know in the comments.